All right, we've got some breaking news here from the Wall Street Journal reporting that President Trump has indeed ordered White House aides to accelerate efforts to draft a tax plan that would slash corporate tax rates right down to 15%. Keep in mind they're 35% right now. Also prioritizing tax cut rates over an attempt to not increase the deficit. In other words, he'd rather see the economy grow via less in the way of taxes, less onerous tax rates, and deal with the headache that you would get, at least temporarily, of, more money that you owe. Jessica and Evan are back with me right now. And, guys, this is what we thought he was going to do, right? I mean, this is what he promised on the campaign trail. He said, we get the highest tax rate in the world. Again, I'm factoring in local and state. 35% federal for corporations. He wants to take it to 15%. This is what he promised. It's aggressive. You don't think he's going to have a lot of success with that because it's too low. But, hey, Evan, if you get rid of all these deductions and you say, guess what, every company out there, you're just going to pay your flat 15%, you might be onto something.
You're going to have a lot of very happy companies because it will promote growth and help the companies profit as well as provide jobs for Americans, and everybody benefits from this. I think that the 15% might not actually be the end number. I think when they negotiate,
you
got to start somewhere.
And I think Trump,
the president, is looking for something more in the low to mid-20s as a realistic expectation, but you have to begin as a negotiating point at 15.
Well, a lot of companies are paying in the 20s anyway right now, right? I mean, they're not paying the 35%. Because they've got all these deductions that they're able to take. So why not simplify things, again, put the accountants, to the sideline and say, okay, fine, pay your 15%, pay your 20%, I'll take even that, right? And let's get rid of all these crazy deductions.
I think that's fair, but I think as we've seen all through this campaign and, over the last few decades, everything is messaging. It's what you're going out there and saying. I mean, the American public responds to what they're hearing. So if you're going out there and you're saying, I want a 15% tax rate, or I want individuals who are making billions of dollars a year go down to a 25% tax rate by, 39.6 at this time, that doesn't sound so good to the masses who overwhelmingly feel that the wealthy don't pay their fair share. So if he can find some way to message it better, rather than just saying we're cutting rates, simplification appeals to...
I disagree with you.
Okay.
And I'll say it this way. Well, first of all, he won, right?
He did.
And Bernie Sanders didn't, and Hillary Clinton didn't. Donald Trump won, and he won. What I've been so interested in is that this is a Republican, not necessarily a conservative. I know you had those issues with him early on, Evan, but this is someone who is on the right and saying, I can stick up for the middle class. And guess what? Things like lower taxes, those will benefit the middle and lower classes. Let's not forget. JFK cut taxes. I mean, this doesn't need to be so political. To me, it's Econ 101.
I think that the president, and we're seeing this in pretty much every policy position, because he doesn't fit into that classic Republican mold or the classic Democratic mold. He's his own mold. We've seen him go out and be able to fight for the middle class and cross party lines and blur them as well.
What has he done that actually fought for the middle class besides saying he was going to fight for the middle class? What policy is going to benefit them?
We've seen that the president has come out, and on health care, he's talked about something liberals love, which is he wants to be able to negotiate prescription drug prices with the drug manufacturers.
But look at the AHCA. Donald Trump, he is his own party. And this is something that I think made a lot of Rust Belt Democrat voters comfortable with going for them, because he said this isn't really a Republican. So maybe in 4 years from now, 8 years from now, we can still go back to being a Democrat. But you have to look at the policies. He is in charge of a caucus that are actually Republicans, whether he is or not. If you look at the AHCA and the nuts and bolts of it, that was a policy that would hurt the average American by leagues. And I know you didn't support that bill, taking insurance away from 24 million people. Now we're talking about getting rid of free.
But that wasn't President Trump who wrote that bill.
But that's his party.